Today will be a day to remember for the rest of your life. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is excited to present the Heart of a Hall of Famer program connected by Extreme Networks. With over 100 Hall of Famers participating, we have reached 47 states and countries all over the world, sharing the message that football is more than a game and can teach Americans important life values like commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty.
You have to make right decisions even when nobody's watching you.
Well, respect is not just given out. It's not handed out like a brochure. It's earned.
Today, you are presented with an opportunity to meet and learn from one of the greatest football players of all time. But more important than that, the chance to see that their Hall of Fame life wasn't given to them. They didn't roll out the bed great. They put the work in, on the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, in their communities. They made themselves a Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Your feet can't take you where your mind's never been.
Because you can make it, but it's just gonna take a little hard work and some effort and the drive and determination.
And today, you will learn you can do the same thing they did. You don't have to have a gold jacket or a bronze bust to make a difference in the lives of others. It's your decision whether you want to be a successful student, son, daughter, brother, or sister.
If attitudes are contagious, is your attitude worth catching?
It's integrity as well, because when you decide to pursue something and you don't quit, that says a lot about you.
Commitment to excellence. We can all aspire to be the best.
Welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime program, the Heart of a Hall of Famer program, connected by Extreme Networks.
As I look out at all of these great men sitting here, I can't believe I'm joining this fraternity. I tell our young players to know their history, because you are the living representatives of that history. You have inspired me since I was a young boy, dreaming of one day standing here. In my youth, I watched every game I could. I studied all the great players like Ham, Lanier, Youngblood, Bobby Bell, Leroy Selman, and many more. And in closing, if I may, to the young kids out there, I am proof you should do everything you can to live your dream, whatever that may be. I did not have the material advantages, but through commitment to achieving my goals, using the advantages that I did have, and listening to the wise men and women who offered their support, I was able to live my dream. This was my dream.
All right, with that, I'd like to welcome everybody here to East Boston High School in East Boston, Massachusetts. I was going to try a Boston accent, but I practiced it and it just wasn't very good. For our latest installment of the Pro Football Hall of Fame series, Heart of a Hall of Famer, connected by Extreme Networks. Today, featuring that guy you just saw in the intro video and the gentleman sitting right here beside me, Mr. Andre Tippett. My name is Jake Ray. I'm the Youth Education and Leadership Manager at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, where it's our mission to honor the greats of the game, to preserve its history, to promote its values, and to celebrate excellence together. And those values we promote are those of commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty, all of which made this gentleman right here one of the greatest 371 football players, minds, executives of all time, but also made him a great man, a great individual, a great member of his community, and today, a great employee of the team that he played for his entire career. So I'm excited today to hear how these values impacted Mr. Tippett's career, both on and off the field, as I'm sure you are excited as well. Before we do get started, I have some thank yous I'd like to pass out. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our great partners at Extreme Networks for everything they do for us at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, specifically for our department and this Heart of a Hall of Famer program. Without their commitment and their partnership, we wouldn't be able to provide this opportunity for the students we have in this room today and everybody tuned in online or watching us live on YouTube without their help. So a sincere thank you to all of our great partners at Extreme Networks. Secondly, I'd like to thank any teacher, administrator, educator that allowed us into their classroom today virtually, and specifically the staff here at East Boston High School for allowing us to come through their doors and host the program here. Always think it's cool that teachers and schools allow us to just be a small part of their students' learning experience this school year. So thank you to all of them. And then lastly, and most importantly, we have to thank our students. Without the students here, this program doesn't take place. I was always joke, I've got a bunch of questions here I'm ready to ask, but nobody wants to hear from me for an hour. We want to hear from your students. So periodically throughout the program today, we're going to be getting some questions from our students right here in this room with us in East Boston. And we have a lot of great schools connected in across the country as well, from all the way to California from us here on the East Coast. So truly a cross-country program. And no matter where you're watching today, whether you're here in this classroom, you're watching us online, if you post a photo or video, please make sure you tag the Pro Football Hall of Fame at Pro Football HOF. Make sure you tag Extreme Networks at Extreme Networks and use the hashtag HOF values in your post. Just might be reshared. So today we are super grateful and lucky to be joined by one of 371 Hall of Famers, Mr. Andre Tippett. Let's give him a big round of applause here this morning. First and foremost, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here today.
Thank you, Jake. Good to see you again, and good to be here in East Boston, to see these young men and have a little conversation with them. It's nice.
All right. Well, the joys of hosting the program is I always get to ask the first question. We mentioned those values: commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and honesty. Out of those 5, is there one that stands out to you that kind of impacted your career more, both either on or off the field?
I've had that question thrown at me a ton of times, and I always go back to character. And this great game that we all fortunate to play at some point, and you guys are playing now, character plays a huge role. Character is about teamwork. Character for me was about resiliency, grit. Character was about, hey, it was my fault, and I didn't mind raising my hand, taking on that responsibility of saying, I busted that play, or it was my bad. And, all that with football, around the right people, around the right support of your teammate, the right support of your coaches, it's going to lead you down the right street. You're going to be able to make right choices. And no matter what you say or do, if you're around the right-minded folk, you're going to do the right-minded things most of the time. And that's the one given about football, and especially if the program is really doing well, because teamwork is important, the resiliency, the fact that I can count on my guy, and we're always going to push each other to do better. And so character is it.
So throughout your career, obviously an illustrious, a Hall of Fame career, can you give us a moment or a thing that you learned from the game of football that you were able to then, after your career was over, in your job currently, you were able to take and apply to life off the field?
I probably would say be responsible. Again, we're going to talk throughout the day, and a lot of what we talk about in football, responsibility and pride and character and desire and all those things, they all coincide with today's society and what happens out in the real world. So, that was one of the things that taking on responsibilities and being accountable for the folks that were working with me, folks that I was working with, responsibilities that I'm in charge of, and having pride about doing the job the right way. We can line up and attempt to play and challenge each other and say, we got to give 100%. But if you're not challenging that person across from you, if you're not challenging that person that's next to you, think about that. Person that's next to you, and then that person across the line of scrimmage from you. You're not challenging those people. You're not getting better, and you're not making them better. You're not making your teammates better. And that's the thing that, I take into the office at Gillette. And, the guys, we joke, we have fun, but we take care of our responsibilities. We all are accountable, and we all challenge each other to do better.
We talked a little bit about character. I want to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame. And obviously, I love to ask this question and get the look of what is it like to walk in the Hall of Fame after you have the jacket on? Obviously, you probably visited before you were a Hall of Famer. You get the jacket on, you get the bronze bust. What is it like walking through those front doors after you have those items?
It's probably the most amazing feeling in the world. It's something that you can talk about, that's the goal. And it doesn't happen for everybody. But when you're fortunate to be part of the 371 guys that are part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and you got the gold jacket, the bust, the ring, and you're back for enshrinement week, and we walk around, there's so much pride and there's so much puffiness of your chest out, and everybody's walking on cloud nine. And then you get to be with the greatest guys that have ever played the game. And then you're having conversations with those guys. I was blessed to spend a little time with Dick Butkus this summer. Dick Butkus, in my opinion, is the greatest linebacker that ever played the game. He played the game the way it used to be played back in the day when I was coming up. And to spend an hour of conversation with Dick Butkus, hour conversation, we were just talking, just chopping it up. And the funny thing was, I wanted to take a picture with Dick, but I said, you know what? The hour that I've had with him is good enough. And I'm not going to bother somebody. Hey, can you take a picture of us? I walked away. I said, Dick, I'll see you later. And, lo and behold, we lost a great one not too long ago. But that experience of seeing Dick Butkus, Joe Green, Joe Namath, Joe Montana, there's so many guys that, I played against that are there, and I get to see these guys every year. And the camaraderie, that feeling of completeness, and we all played the game the right way, and it's a great feeling.
We know that there's obviously a high level of respect between players on the field, no matter if it's a high school player we have sitting in here,
right,
playing their crosstown rival, or it's somebody playing in the NFL. But I think that level of respect takes a step up when you're sitting beside Dick Butkus and you're in that same room with quarterbacks that you sacked and running backs that you've tackled. What is that experience like to translate from such a high level of respect on the field to then you're sitting in a room with 100 other Hall of Famers? Now you're all on the same team. What's that relationship like?
It's funny. The year I went in, we had one rule that someone said. I can't repeat it exactly the way it was said, but basically it was, don't be that guy. Now you're in a room amongst some of the greatest guys that have ever played the game. So there's no need for ego. There's no need for, my needs are greater than your needs while we're here for the week, enjoying ourselves. It's mutual respect. And it's humbling to the effect that, it's cool. But the rule is don't be that guy. And we're on a team. Think about this. We're on a team that we can't quit. We can never be cut, and we can't die from it. We're there forever. And it's so cool. When I heard that relayed to me, I was like, it's deep. I said, wow. So
your legacy will forever live on in Canton, Ohio. So as I mentioned when we began, we are going to have the opportunity for students to ask some questions. So we are in East Boston. We are at East Boston High School. We're going to start with the students right here in this room. So as I mentioned to them earlier, I'm old school. Whoever shoots their hand up first with their question gets a chance to ask it. Go ahead.
So I'm going to go a background in martial arts. I want to ask, how did martial arts help you in your football teams?
Yeah, I started training in martial arts when I was 10, 11. Obviously, growing up in Newark, New Jersey, I started for different reasons. But after I got into it and really developed and understood what it was all about, it became a way of life. But I was also able to utilize it as I went on to college, and then I got to play 12 years of professional football, was the ability to manipulate, to unbalance people, and to be very violent with my hands. And because of the training, I was able to incorporate that when I didn't even realize I was incorporating that. But especially being a defensive player, It's a self-defense moment where, you know, the offensive guys are trying to do us harm defensively. So I got to get every advantage I had. So my advantage was fast hands, working angles, and being able to unbalance people, and they don't realize they were unbalanced. And then I took advantage of it with speed, quickness. So it wasn't just karate, it was athletic ability, but I was smart enough to utilize the martial arts training. 53 years of training right now, and I hold the rank of 7th degree black belt. I actually teach still at Curry College. I teach a karate sports club there. So twice a week I'm there with students training and teaching and having fun. So I love the martial arts. When I say it's a way of life, it truly is a way of life.
We've obviously talked to you before about that, and I've butchered the name of what you do. So can you tell everybody exactly what you're studying in?
So I study karate and kobudo. Kobudo is weapons, bow, sai, nunchucks, different things like that. It's all part of the Okinawan tree. So you have the Okinawan karate styles, you have the Japanese karate styles. I happen to train in one of the 4 major karate systems in Okinawa. So there is Ishinryu, Shorin-ryu, Weichi-ryu, which is what I study, and Goju-ryu. So it's the 4 major systems over there. I've been very fortunate to meet some great people when I first got drafted here with the Patriots. So I was able to join this karate club, and I've been a member of that karate club about 41 years. And the style that I've trained has been very helpful to me. And as I said, again, it's one of the major Okinawan systems. And I also do kobudo, as I said, which is called Yamani-ryu. It's an Okinawan karate system also. So I've been to Okinawa. I've trained with the masters. You guys have seen the Karate Kid. Well, they truly are like Daniel-san and Miyagi-sensei. It's amazing. You have deepest respect for the Okinawan people and the teachers that are there that are teaching. It's when I tell you, fellas, it's deep. It's deep.
That's why I didn't try to pronounce any of those words. All right, somebody else here got a question. Go ahead, raise your hand. We'll take another question from our audience right here. Go ahead.
At what point in your life did you know that you wanted to become an NFL player? Was it always a dream that you were in high school?
You know, just like you guys, you watch the game, you see those guys out there playing, guy playing your position, and what do? I want to be the next Tom Brady. I want to be the next Judon. I want to be, that's me out there. And I'm visualizing myself. Well, I was no different than you guys. I sat around on Sunday. I watched the Cowboys. I watched the Raiders. I watched the Steelers play back in the 70s. So I'm watching championship level football. And I'm seeing these great guys out there playing it. And I'm playing high school football. And I'm like, I can do that. And it wasn't until, though, my junior year in high school, coach tells me, Georgia Tech is looking at you. Purdue is coming in to see you. Rutgers wants to come see you. I'm like, what? Yeah, you got an opportunity to go to college to play football. Huh? And then it hits me. But then reality hit me too. Wasn't taking care of the things academically I was supposed to. So I ended up doing a JC year, bust my tail to get out of there. They were trying to keep me there for 2 years. Worked hard. Iowa kept the commitment to me, scholarship. Bob Cummings was the original head coach that had recruited me. Hayden Fry was the replacement, but he kept and honored the scholarship. I got the scholarship after a year, and everything at University of Iowa is history now. So I had a great time. But it was seeing, visualizing, again, having a high school coach who was a taskmaster, a disciplinarian, a father figure, a guy that only you football players are going to listen to. Why? Because you have love and respect for that man. I was fortunate to have that guy also who pushed me to do all the right things, and I listened to him when I needed that advice.
Thank you. Great question. Along the same lines, I got a question here. I do apologize. We'll be looking at my phone here periodically throughout the program. Got some questions from our live audience, whether it's on YouTube or other schools connected in on Zoom. This question here comes from Sheridan Technical High School in Florida. So we're going down south. When did you start to like football?
High school. Believe it or not, I was fortunate because I got cut JV. People hear that, they're like, no, they didn't cut you. I got cut. I got cut my freshman year. So I didn't play until my sophomore year. I got cut. I was a reality slap. I got slapped in the face and I wasn't good enough. I didn't play Pop Warner football. I got grabbed by some buddies. They were having tryouts our freshman year. Come on, let's go. So we go. All of a sudden, I'm running around out there in school clothes. I didn't have any gym equipment. I'm like, well, I'm out there with everybody else. So for that week, all of a sudden, the list is up. I don't see my name on the list. I get cut. And I'm like, wow. So that hurt me more than I realized it, because while I was going through that week of running around trying to make JV, I enjoyed what I was doing. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I think I can do this. And my buddies were out there. Well, the next year, I'm determined I'm going to make this no matter what. So I make it my sophomore year. We play 6 games. After 6 games, I get sent up to varsity. 1975, varsity team is playing well. Win a state championship. We beat Livingston High School in New Jersey, 14-13. All of a sudden, you know, I'm on the team, I'm playing. One of the starters get hurt. I get thrown out there for a few plays, and I'm experiencing the high schools, the cheering, the loudness. And all of a sudden, we win. We have our banquet. We get that ring. We get the state championship ring. I'm a sophomore. On the ring, pride, character, desire. Look at that. All of a sudden, all of that resonated with me. It was like, that was the call. And then it just went on again. So now the seniors that are leading us, I'm picking up the vibe of the leadership, the pride, the character, what I got to do when I get in that position. We don't do so well my junior year, my senior year. Boom, we're back at it. We're going to go out strong. We're playing great. Now we're getting ready to play. First time, Meadowlands in New Jersey. 46,000 people there. Most people that have ever been to a high school football game. We end up losing to Westfield High School, but the experience, that ability to win and what it feels like when we're winning and what we're doing, and we love each other. We got each other's back. That was a lot, but I had to tell it.
Ooh, way to go. Got me pumped up right there. All right, we're going to take some other questions from our students we have tuned in all over the country. So we're going to go to Norwalk High School for our next question. So students there at Norwalk, go ahead, step up to the camera and the microphone, unmute yourself. Students, state your name, the grade that you're in, and then go ahead with your question. All right, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Shanita Lazara, and I'm a sophomore at Norwalk High School. And my question is, over the years of being in the NFL, did your way of leading people change?
No, it never. My big thing wasn't about talking, it was about leading by example. Getting there early, leaving late, practicing hard, no plays off. You know, we joke, no brother-in-law. We line up, snap it up, because I'm going to push you. I expect you to push me, and that's the way I led. I led by example. Go out, do things, let guys see you doing things, and everybody's going to want to follow suit.
Awesome. Thanks for that question. We talked at the beginning of what we stand for at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, our mission statement: honor the greats of the game, players like yourself, and to preserve its history. And we thought, what better way to showcase that than to go live into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, into our museum, to showcase a little bit about what we're about there in Canton, Ohio. So we've got the Director of Youth Education and Leadership, Jerry Shockey, out in the museum in front of some artifacts that's probably going to look a little bit familiar to you. So Jerry, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you, Jake, and Andre. Good to see you, my friend, and hope you are doing well. You look good. You haven't aged at all, so you look good.
Nice to see you.
Hey, students, so what an exciting opportunity to talk with one of the greatest football players ever. You watch all the great football players on TV. They aspire to have that gold jacket like Mr. Tippett has on right now, and have what's behind us is that bronze bust. There's 3 things you get in the Hall of Fame. You get a jacket, you get a ring, and obviously the most iconic is this bronze bust. And so I want to give you guys an idea. We throw it out there that they aspire to be, but I want to put into perspective what that means as far as number-wise. So think about this for a second. Since the game of football has been played, there have been roughly 300 million people to play the game at all levels, okay? $5 million to play it at the collegiate level, and roughly about $29,000 to play, coach, or administrate the game at the professional level in the NFL. There are only 371 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And the gentleman that you have in front of you and the gentleman that you're hearing streamed all across the country is one of those. And so it makes me think, Andre, because I know your background, I know with martial arts, just you know, your Hall of Fame career, but also your job in community affairs and the things that you do in that area. We talk about responsibility, but not only responsibility on the field, not only responsibility in martial arts and all the things you have to do to be doing the right things all the time, but what about the responsibility? Think about in the perspective for the students to think about the platform that you've been given, the responsibility to use that platform to do good. And I know you take that very seriously. So can you talk with them about, you know, kind of the platform that maybe the Hall of Fame's given you to help change people's lives?
Absolutely. You know, the ability to give back, you know, people hear that, people say that a lot, but truly having that opportunity to change someone's life. I think I grew up in a time in New Jersey where we didn't have a lot. We had a lot of people that were there to help us along the way. And it's no different now, 40 something years later. Life and all of the things that are happening is still there. And that ability to do things to help people change and a leg up, so to speak. With the Patriots and with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I've been able to do that. I mean, we go out into the community and we try to make change, and so many different areas that are out there. It isn't just sports, you know, it isn't just the military, it isn't about health and science. It's just so many other things that are out there that I've been able to put my hands on, I've been able to be part of, and recognizing and helping certain communities, certain folks that are just in a position that they can't help themselves. And it's amazing feeling to be part of that, to get together as a team, to go out into the community or go to a shelter or go to a place where you can lend a hand to those that can't help themselves. It's an amazing and it's a powerful feeling. It's a wonderful way to give back.
And I've heard this a handful of times through my life, Andre. I know that you have probably a lot more than I have. When someone, I don't know of a better compliment that someone can give you, and not that we do it for those reasons, but just builds you up when someone comes back to you and says, because of what you did, you changed the trajectory of my life. And there's just students, you don't have to wear a gold jacket or work for the Pro Football Hall of Fame to do that. You can be that person as you sit, whatever position you are in life right now, you can be that person right now. And so I know it's something that Andre takes very seriously and takes a lot of pride in and is very passionate about serving the community. So Andre, I appreciate your time here today. Good to see you, my friend. And Jake, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thanks, Jerry. Hope you got a nice little insight there to us at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just one of the many things that we have to preserve your legacy there in Canton, Ohio. Thank you again, Jerry. With that, we're going to send it back out to one of our schools. We're going to go to North Ridgeville High School there in Ohio for our next question. So your students there in North Ridgeville, go ahead and step up to the camera and the microphone. Once you unmute, state your name, the grade that you're in, and then go ahead with your question.
Hi, my name is Gabriella Gigliotti. I'm in 8th grade at the North Ridgeville Academic Center. When you were growing up, who helped you be successful?
My mom is one. Being a taskmaster herself, she never let me slide on anything. Made me accountable. And I had deep respect, mad respect for my mom. She raised 6 of us by herself. And I told the line with my mother. And then secondly, as I said earlier, my high school coach, without him and without me listening to him, I'm in a different community doing something totally different that I probably wouldn't be happy doing right now. And I was smart enough and that's another piece that I like to share with people. Becoming a great listener is probably one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself, especially growing up as you young men are starting to grow up now, becoming a great listener. And I was a great listener, and listening to people who knew better and knew more than me was really important. So my mom and my high school coach were the people that helped lead me to where I am today.
Awesome. Thanks for a great question there. As you saw in the intro video, we got a little snippet of your Hall of Fame speech there. And at the end, you said to all the young kids out there, I am proof you should do everything you can to live out your dream, whatever it may be. Why was it important for you to wrap up what some say might be the greatest moment of your football career with something like that?
It was a hidden motive behind it. I was once told that I'd never amount to anything. My mother was in the room with me when it was said to me. And she looked at me and she said, you see, this is why I need you to listen to me and pay attention to me. Because this is what they think of you, that you will never amount to anything. And I took it to heart and never looked back. Always tried to do the right thing, always trying to do the things that people don't expect you to do when they're not watching. And even when they are watching, you got to be responsible. So I wanted to let that message be known that whoever you are, whoever you aspire to be, don't ever let nobody kill that. Don't ever let nobody kill that. But you got to get yourself lined up with those that can help you get to that next level. If there's something that you're trying to achieve, there's something that you want to become and be, there's enough resources here at East Boston. If you can't get the resources here, you reach out to me and Jake. But I'm sure you guys got enough people here that can help you guys find your way in life when you get ready to move to the next level from here. And so if there's a dream to become something big, we all need somebody to help us. But you got to set the tone. You got to put the work ethic in. You got to supply yourself with the opportunities for people to come and tap you on the shoulder and say, you know, I'm going to help you. I like your work ethic. I like your attitude. I like your character. I like what your high school coach says about you. I like what the dean says about you. I like what the trainers have said about you. So, and I mention all those people because you never know who someone's going to reach back to co-sign to find out what kind of guy you were when you were in school. So
that's how you ended your football career. I want to go flashback to when you first started your NFL career. We always like to what was that welcome to the NFL moment when you realized you weren't at Iowa anymore? You were in the NFL. Was it a moment in preseason? Was it a moment when you lined up across from a Hall of Fame offensive lineman or running back? What was that moment for you, if you could go back and look at that in your career?
Man, it stands out like it was yesterday. It was a game, and I know the game. We were playing the Jets at home, Foxborough. And there were 3 plays back to back. I don't remember how they went exactly, but the first play was one-on-one with the running back in the end zone. I knocked the ball out of his hand. Next play, quarterback dropped back, was trying to throw another pass. I sacked the quarterback. Third down play, toss sweep, strung the tight end out, made the tackle for like a 5-6 yard loss. That was all in one series. And to me, it was like practice. It was like being in practice because, as I said, we're challenging each other. I'm trying to get better. You should be trying to get better. I ain't brothering along with you. I ain't taking it easy on you. I'm expecting you to try to, you know, get some snot bubbles going. And that's what I did in one series. And that was when it started for me, that I said, I can play this game. And I can play this game at a high level because I kept looking at those who had come before me, those who had set the tempo for that position as an outside linebacker, all the great guys that were considered the great ones, they set a level of play. And I tried to copy that play, plain and simple.
Awesome. All right, we're going to go back out to one of our schools for another question. We're going to go Keys to Learning Charter Academy for our next question. So our folks there at Keys, go ahead and step up to the microphone, unmute, state your name, the grade that you're in, and then go ahead with your question.
My name is Parker Dalton. I go to Keys to Learning Charter School. I'm in 5th grade. And my question is there someone that you admire in the NFL today and why?
Oh man. Well, player-wise, it's hard because I don't want to alienate anybody. I don't want to get text messages. Man, why didn't you mention me? I'll do this. I'll say, for me, I'm going to go with ownership. I'm going to pick a guy, an owner. Obviously, I worked for him, Robert Kraft. And the things that he's done for the organization that I played for 41 years. I've been 41 years with the Patriots. And what he's done to change the culture, bringing in players. Now, we're not having a great year this year, but things happen for reasons, and we don't have to go there with that. But I'd say the owner and how he managed the organization, how he built the new stadium, and how we basically set a culture of winning for a very long time, and the expectations of winning, and how he runs his business has been something to admire for a long time for me personally.
Awesome thing. How many Super Bowl rings you got?
6.
6 Super Bowl rings. That's not a bad career. Got another question here from one of our view-only schools. This is from Somis Middle School out in California. They wanted to know, what was the worst injury you had during your football career, and what did that experience teach you?
1989, tore my pec. Last preseason game. Going hard. Everybody asked why those starters still out there in the preseason game. 3 of us went down, me, Garen Veras, Ryan Lefebvre. And at that point, we were kind of pushing ourselves to kind of get back to that 1985 season where we had gone to the Super Bowl and lost to the Bears. But the things that we did, we thought that we could get us back to that opportunity again. And the pec muscle was hard to take. I missed the whole season. But what I did with that opportunity, though, I didn't just sit around and feel sorry for myself. Obviously had surgery. Obviously, it went the whole year of being on the sideline, watching the team play. But I took that off season because I still was in rehab and doing things. I was 16 hours short of my degree. So unbeknownst to anybody else, I reached out to the University of Iowa, enrolled during the spring of 90, and knocked out the 16 hours, got my degree, came back a couple of times for minicamp. Everybody was wondering, where the hell are you? I'm like, well, I'm taking care of some business. So it wasn't bad. It was bad. Yeah, I missed a year. Can't get that back. But I took an opportunity to take care of something that had been on my mind for a long time.
Very cool. We've done 2 programs on the road this year. We were in Kansas City with Bobby Bell, and now here with you. Both of you guys, after your careers were over, during your career here, went back to finish the college degree, which is very, very cool. When adversity like that strikes, now for kids in this room, it might not be a pec injury. Right. It might be a bad grade. It might be something in the household. When that adversity strikes, where did you go to regain your confidence? And what are some things kids can do today to regain that confidence back?
I right away, I think you just got to have a conversation with somebody. Find somebody that you respect. It can be anybody. You can have, obviously, I go back to the coaches. I go the academic advisors. There might be a teacher, someone that you're fond of. Anybody, somebody that you can have a conversation. You know, I'm failing. What can I do to get better? Things are not going right on the football team or the basketball team or the track team. I'm not feeling this. You know, gotta have somebody that you respect, not somebody that's going to tell you what you want to hear, but someone that you can say, hey, look, I'm not sure about something. I kind of value your opinion. Can I run something by you? And have that conversation. And, you know, it's amazing when you share and you talk about it and you bring it out in the open, and then the advice that starts coming in by folks that you respect. It can make the world of a difference because it'll prevent you from just running off and making a dumb decision without having a conversation with anybody. But to have that conversation with someone that can advise you, that's value that you can't ever pass up.
You've had a ton of accolades throughout your football career. Obviously, one of the biggest being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But besides that, what do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment and why?
Probably being a great dad. And I say I'm being a great dad, but you know, I don't know if my kids are saying I'm a great dad, but my kids, watching my kids accomplish things that they've accomplished, and trying to be a father to my kids has probably been one of the coolest things. All my kids now, you know, the oldest is 39, then 35, then 27, and then 25. And 3 boys and a girl. And, you know, everybody's a college graduate. Everybody has a job. And everybody still calls and talk to me and run things by me because, Dad, I want to have a conversation with you because I'm thinking about making a change at work. And I'm like, all right, well, call me later on tonight and we'll have that conversation. Well, those are the things I didn't have coming up. Now that I'm older, I'm a parent, I have the ability to pass great information to my kids and then watch them utilize the information and then use it to their advantage, and they're all having success. So no matter who that person is, you know, you find that person that you can confide in, because we all need somebody that we can confide in. My high school coach is almost 84, 85 years old. I still call him from time to time for advice. And I did for a long time. For a long time. I used to call him for advice. So.
Very cool. I got another question from one of our view onlys here. This is Brewston High School. You mentioned obviously the Patriot season not going the way that everybody had planned at the beginning of the year. And they also said that their high school team is struggling this year. So what advice do you have on how to deal with a season not going the way you want to with wins and losses?
Again, we look at how we go about our business in practice. How serious are we in practice? How competitive against each other are we in practice? What are we talking about? Do we have that one voice? Who do we respect? Who are the captains that we look up to? You know, you know, there are a lot of things that go into play, but you know, there's nothing like a good old-fashioned, just a good practice where everybody's not chirping, everybody's working, everybody's trying to get better, everybody's running the plays that are being called, everybody's working hard on their assignments. It's easy to say, but if you take that mentality that, you know, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna try to do something different. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna try to, you know, send the message. And, you know, it's all about communication amongst the folks. We don't need locker room lawyers, but we need guys that are willing to communicate with each other and say, hey, look, we need change, we need to do this, we need to do that, and be 100% committed to doing it.
We got about 15 minutes left here in the program. So with that, we're going to take some other questions from our students here at East Boston. So if you got a question, raise your hand. Don't be shy. Go ahead.
In your opinion, who's the best player you either played against or played with?
Played with a ton of those guys. Obviously played with John Hanna, who was, you know, one of the best guys to play offensive line. Steve Grogan, Steve Nelson, Donnie Blackman, Fred Marion, Mosi Tutupu. So there's a host of guys that I was fortunate to be with on the field. Guys that, as we like to say, guys that you're willing to go down a dark alleyway with and you wouldn't question them. And they say, I need you to go with me. I'm like, let's go. Because you knew those guys were winners. You know those guys were committed. You know those guys wouldn't quit on you.
Along the same lines, pick any Hall of Famer to be on your team. Who are you picking?
Wow. Man, that is crazy. I really don't.
Any decade.
I mean, you know, obviously I would probably go defense. You know, you can look at guys like Mel Blount, great cornerback. Joe Green, great nose tackle. Obviously LT played with the Giants. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. I don't even know who I would pick. I mean,
you put together a good team so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and those are the guys that, you know, that play that you guys know. But it's just, man, to pick a guy, it's really hard to lay your hat on one particular name. I don't know.
I got another question here from our students. Go ahead.
What's the best team you played against?
Best team I played against? Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears beat us in the Super Bowl 1985. We lost Super Bowl 20. Chicago Bears was for that year, that time was the greatest defensive team I ever seen. They not only line up and played hard, they intimidated, they demolished, they demoralized. You know, they played hard football. And I think I'm talking to us in the room right now, given our opportunity, they say, we need one guy from this group, we would be jumping on each other to join that team at that time, that particular year. They were a good football team. And, you know, it was hard to watch, but it was easy to admire them years later. So,
throughout your career, obviously so much success culminating in induction to the Hall of Fame. How does humility play into that? And how do you remain humble with all the successes that you had throughout your life and then even now when you get to put that gold jacket on?
Well, you know, you have to, you know, it's great to read clippings of yourself. People pat you on the back, you the attaboys. But you got to understand sometimes when they're saying good things for you, they might be trying to set you up for that big fall. And you got to take it, you got to appreciate it, you got to put it away and say, all right, that's not going to stop me from going back out the next day and going harder, competing better, being smarter about my studies, getting ready for upcoming week. And, you know, it's a mindset. So, you know, you guys heard me talk about martial arts. So there's a word, Shoshin. Shoshin means the heart of a beginner. It's a white belt mentality. So I'm a black belt. But Shoshin means you keep that white belt mentality no matter how far you move up the ranks, no matter how good you get, keep that mentality of a beginner. So there's nothing that someone can't teach you that's going to make you better as a football player. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be able to tap you on the shoulder. No matter where you go, no matter how long you keep playing this game, there's going to be somebody that can help you, no matter how good you get. And that's the thing that kept me humble, even to this day. You know, it's nice to get the accolades and be here with you guys, and I get to put on my gold jacket and everything. But you know, it's when I leave here today, I got to go back to the office. My wife. I get home, honey, where you want to go for dinner? Where you want me to cook? You want? You know, so those are my struggles. It's not a bad thing, but it's like it's keeping me humble, even killed.
Can you tell a little bit, you know, mentioned going back to the office, driving from the office today, just a little bit about what you do today, how you got into this role and some of the things you handle with the Patriots team today? I'm
the executive director of community affairs, New England Patriots. I've been that position since 2003, but before that, I was in pro personnel. Got an opportunity to do some other things, a lot of fun, but being in community affairs has given me like probably the greatest joy, because we are able to reach folks in 6 regions of the New England area, 6 states. That's amazing. Most teams only get that particular town that they're in, that state that we all over the place. And we don't have one particular thing that we hang our hat on. People come to us for different reasons, for you know, for money, for items, for whatever. And to evaluate that particular nonprofit or that company or that school or those kids or this or that, to figure out what the giving is going to be is amazing. We do this. Danny Callahan works with me at the Patriots, and she and I do a lot together with the Coach of the Week program, and she handles a lot of the youth stuff, flag football, girls flag football. She was behind starting the flag football program last year here in Massachusetts. We're trying to make that a varsity sport. But we talk about so many things on a weekly basis that we don't, people say, well, what do you do in the off season? We don't have an off season, we year round. So we have an opportunity to touch lives and all walks, different directions, different, no matter who you are, we get our hands in it and we try to basically help those that can't help themselves. And that's a great feeling. It really is.
What is it about the Patriots brand, the organization, the sport of football that makes going out into the community so special? And you get to see, like you said, so many different communities, so many different schools. So one of the cool things about this program is, we get to do this program at schools in the inner city, schools in the middle of nowhere. And it's the same, relatively the same topics we talk about, and you get to see the impact that the game has. So what is it about the sport of football and for you, the Patriots organization, that makes that so special?
Well, you guys, you grew up, all you know is what? Super Bowl, right? You grew up Super Bowl era. Oh, okay. You guys probably, how many of you went to the parades when you were little babies, little boys? Everybody's been to the parade.
More than just football.
And, yeah, and it's just more than, absolutely. So it's the championships, it's the aura, the Tom Brady's, the Bill Belichick, the Will Forks, just the host of all the great players that we've had on the team. So when the Patriots knock on the door and say, hey, we're gonna come out there, and they're like, oh, welcome, come on in, come on in, come on in. And we everybody wants to be a part of it. We all do. We all do. We all do. I mean, for me, it's been, I pinch myself sometimes. My kids grew up. My son grew up in a locker room. He knows more of the players than I do. He has to remind me, oh, Dad, that's so-and-so. But the culture that we've built there, and again, this year, we won't talk about this year that much, but what we've had has been awesome. And it's been that ability to get us to do more for people, to get out in the community and stay involved. People want to be part of it.
All right, got time for a few more questions. We're going to take one last one from our students in here. Go ahead.
What was your mindset like coming up as a football player?
What was
your mindset like coming up as a football player?
Man, I had so many great leaders. I mean, when I tell you, pride, character, desire was words that we talked about. I heard these seniors, juniors talking about it all the time. And, it was just, we wanted to emulate. I emulated the guy that was a senior. So when he left, I took his number. I wanted to be 71 in high school. I wanted to play offensive tackle, stand-up defensive end. I wanted to be like Prentice Walker. And because he was a great football player and he was doing it in high school, and you'd see him out there and he'd have his picture in the paper. He made a tackle, a strip sack, or he picked the ball off and ran it for a touchdown. So my mindset is, I can't quit. You're a winner. You got to compete all the time. There were just things that you just told yourself. And everybody in the locker room told themselves. And because of that, we built that, winning. We want to win. We want to win. Ain't no quit in us. Pride, character, desire, and put your hand in it. It was your fault if you busted a play. Because we want to know who busted it. And we were looking down the offensive line. Who missed that play? You couldn't be over there. You had to put your hand in because we were going to call you out. And so that's the mentality that I took from high school, to college, to the pros.
Awesome. Great question. Got time for one more. And before we ask that, we first again want to thank you for being a part of the program, taking time out of your busy work schedule to make the trip over here to East Boston. We've talked about so many great things today, all the little tips and tricks and tidbits you had for the students here and everybody watching online. But we kind of want to send everybody out with that one final message. It can be something you've either touched on already, you want to go in deeper on, or maybe there's something you haven't talked about yet that you want to touch on. But what's that one final message, that one final piece of information? If nobody else remembers anything else, this is the one thing you want them to walk out of the door with.
Well, I say it everywhere I go, and especially this being a football environment. Grit and resilience. Grit and resiliency, and talk about it. Find out what that really is. I mean, people say it, it's cool. Oh, we had grit and resilience and tenacity. You hear that. Well, it's being said amongst the great teams or great competitors or great players say those things. And I think define what that means, define how you guys can utilize, you got a couple more games left, right? Define how grit, resiliency, tenacity can help you the rest of the season and school year. And just moving forward in life. Because these things are going to come back in your life, just your everyday walk of life, trying to figure out what you want to do after you leave high school. And I think it's part of my everyday life. It really is. I mean, it's not just sports related, but it's prominent in sports because those are the things that happen when you're on a winning team, when you're on a team that's being coached right. And it's just, we all got to buy into it. We all got to believe it.
All right. With that, we're going to wrap up this installment of the Pro Football Hall of Fame's Heart of a Hall of Famer series, connected by Extreme Networks with Hall of Famer, Mr. Andre Tippett. Andre, thank you so much, as I said, for giving your time out of your busy schedule to be a part of the program today. From us at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, thank you for everything you've done for the game of football. I always like to say, the game wouldn't be like it is today without your impact. So thank you for everything you've done for the game and continue to do for the game, and then truly everything you do for us at the Pro Football Hall of Fame and everything you will do down the road. Everybody, let's give Andre Tippett one. To all of our students and staff here at East Boston, thank you so much for allowing us to be here at your school for this today. To everybody online that tuned in live and watching us online, thank you again so much, and we hope to see you for our next program. Thank you.